The 1st of June 2008. In just a few minutes, Jeremy Maggs will be on air. It is eNCA's very first broadcast, and he is absolutely terrified.
I'm feeling at that point, as the channel is about to launch, an overwhelming sense of utter naked terror.
Good evening, it's 7 o'clock on Sunday, June the 1st, 2008, and a warm welcome to the very first broadcast of the eNews channel.
We're very proud to bring you...
Former anchor Ridi Tlabe was training for the Comrades Marathon.
Coming to you live from our news centre here in Johannesburg.
She went for a run in the morning, hoping to settle her mind. Instead, she got more and more nervous.
Every runner who ran past me, like, we can't wait for tonight. We can't wait for tonight. eNCA is launching, you know. So that was so huge. I just realized at that moment, running in the morning, before we even went on air, how South Africans were just so hungry for the first 24-hour news channel.
Our aim is to bring you independent television news, reporting without fear or favour.
It certainly is an important day for our country and the rest of Africa. The 24-hour news is finally a reality.
Maggs and Tlabe delivered a flawless program, but you could cut the tension with a knife.
That sting started to roll. I put my left hand out. I was on the right-hand side of the anchor desk. She was on the left. I put my hand under the desk to hold her hand, and both of our hands were absolutely clammy wet.
Mxolisi Msomi Gumedi was the floor manager that night. He was on set during those first crucial minutes.
It was just crazy. You had about close to 200 people in one building running around trying to make sure that as soon as that first sting goes on air and roll, it had to be smooth from there.
4 years later, South Africa was rocked by tragedy.
We could tell that something was going to happen. It seemed like the cops were edgy, the miners, you know, were waiting for something to happen.
Well, back to that breaking news story at the Lonmin mine, where police have moved in to disperse striking workers. We saw police move slowly in. We heard gunshots. There are several people lying on the ground.
Our cameras were on the scene when police killed 34 miners at Marikana. The tragedy unfolding live on air.
It was unfathomable. You know, it was like you were watching a movie.
Rogini Archery was one of the editors on duty. She had to make some of the toughest decisions of her career.
It's live TV. You also have to think of we're showing dead bodies. We're showing people dying on air. You know, how is the audience going to view this? Are there going to be complaints? But it's the biggest thing that's happening. How can we not show it?
eNCA has been on air for nearly 88,000 hours. We care about every single story, but one will stay with us forever.
Our beloved Nelson Mandela is no longer with us. We are a nation in mourning.
Fellow South Africans, our beloved Nelson Mandela, the founding president of our democratic nation, has departed.
It was singularly in a long broadcasting career, the most meaningful week or 10 days of my life. I know I will never repeat it. I am so glad that I was able to be part of it, as sad as it was.
Gumedi was directing when President Zuma announced Madiba's death. He would play the president's message, a message which shook the world.
At that moment, you're in the director's chair and you had to make sure that, you know, you can't have a different emotion to what's happening. You got to concentrate on the job. And I think when I got home at 8 in the morning, I was like, whew, I just couldn't sleep because of that, of such a hectic emotion that was, you know, yeah, no, it was just, it was hectic. Eh?
eNCA launched less than a year before Jacob Zuma became president.
Jacob Zuma, duly elected president of the Republic of South Africa.
The Zuma era was plagued by turmoil, marred by scandal. Today, South Africa has a new leader.
Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa as the new president of the African National Congress.
Would you please raise your right hand, Mr. President-elect, and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
In some ways, it's a new era. But the channel is still asking the tough questions.
Journalists must not forget whose story they are telling. They are not brand ambassadors or PR officers for politicians. You are telling the South African story, and you must do so without fear or favor.
That's it from the Newsnight team on this Sunday.
It's been 10 years since that first show, but the message remains the same.
In your company tomorrow evening between 7
Stay
and 9
tuned,
o'clock. Goodbye to
and
you.
thank you for watching.